Welcome to Homeschooling and Life Unfiltered with Court and Jess, where real talk meets real life. Court and Jess are two friends, fellow moms, and business partners who live in different time zones and juggle homeschooling alongside motherhood and entrepreneurship. Jess is a mom of 8 and Court is a mom of 7, and together they're raising 15 kids and navigating the wild, wonderful world of homeschooling, each in completely different ways. Every week, we invite you to pull up a chair for honest conversations, practical tips, and uplifting encouragement. You'll hear from moms across the country who are homeschooling in a way that works best for their families. Whether you're a veteran homeschool mom just getting started or somewhere in between, this is your space to feel seen, supported, and inspired. Because no matter how different our paths may look, we are all in this together. Welcome to Homeschooling and Life Unfiltered with Court and Jess. All right, we are wrapping up our series on different subjects, right? We've done language arts, we've done math, science, social studies, and today is all the little extra ones. So I think one of the perks of homeschooling, right, is we get to do all kinds of things that you wouldn't normally get, right, in a normal like brick and mortar setting. We get to do kind of a lot of children interest things, and they call them, I mean, I've heard them referred to often as like heart subjects, right? They're going to be your, like your fine arts type things. I don't know, the foofy stuff, but that's not the right word for it either. But
it works.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to start? What do you want to do?
I will let Courtney start, and I will also apologize if there's any background noise or anything. This is real life. Our internet has been out. This is day 2. So I am in town at a coffee shop outside, and of course it's windy. So, but I'm so excited that we get to make it work. But I'm going to let Courtney start because I suspect that she dives way deeper into the extra subjects than we do. So I'm going to turn it over to her first.
So I brought like show and tell today, right? Because like to me this is like a show and tell.
That's perfect.
Okay, so one of the things I will fully own. I even hate to say this, but I really don't like poetry. Like, it's not my favorite thing. I don't love it, like, at all, even a little.
I thought you liked it.
Oh, I hate it.
I did not know that because you do it, and we even did a venture family
poetry night
event. Yes, and I was like grinding inside because I cannot stand it. So
I have very good friends that like love poetry, right? And they're great examples to me. And so we've done a poetry night, like where we met once a month and everybody recites something and shares something. And it's great, but it's just not my default. Like I would never do poetry unless it was like the super easy button, right? So I found the easy button, you guys. It's called Sing a Song of Seasons. It is a poem every day of the year. Here you've got May 25th and, June 16th, like it's so easy. It's beautiful. It has pretty color. They're all kind of nature-y things scheduled. So like, hey, can I pull this out and read a poem every day at family school? Absolutely. And am I going to check the box that we did poetry? Absolutely. I do love like, learning about haikus and like having the kids write haikus or limericks, or I can't even think of any other ones, but we have done that. And that's part of family school. But as far as like reading a poetry book, like torture. But this is super simple, and it's big and it's easy, and it just sits on my forward-facing bookshelf so that it like stares at me until I do it. Do I do it every day? Absolutely not. And have I done it like 1 year yes and then 1 year no? Absolutely. These are not subjects. The things that I'm going to share are not things that we do every single year. Like we might rotate through some of these things. Nature journaling is a really fun one. Like, I mean, it's kind of a sciencey thing, but like I have a bunch of really good nature kind of like textbooks. Obviously, sometimes you want to go outside, but in Arizona, when it's 120 outside, I'm not doing nature outside. We're going to look through a window maybe, or we're going to break out some of these, or we're going to break out a nature video. And we do these fun.
Wait, Courtney, show that book again. We didn't see the title. It was too quick.
This one's called Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. It's just a beautiful book. But then we'll do nature cup pages. Each kid has a nature notebook. And they'll do, like they'll draw whatever it is we're learning about. And then there's their facts that they did when we did turkeys at Thanksgiving one year. And we were doing botany. And so there's the flowers and then the different things they've learned. This has to be Delaney's notebook because it's beautiful. It's like she's super artistic.
mine doesn't look like this.
So do you incorporate this into so like because we've done botany and we've done some of the nature journaling in certain grades, but we always incorporate it into our science. So do you keep them kind of separate?
So the nature journals, it's typically something we do on like a Friday. Like if we don't have a co-op or I'll do it more like in the summertime. Sometimes like if we're doing botany, that kind of leads to nature journaling. So that one kind of did go in our nature journals. But but like when we're learning about turkeys for Thanksgiving, or let's say we're learning about we did hummingbirds, like up at the cabin, there's hummingbird feeders and there's hundreds of hummingbirds. So we drew hummingbirds in our things and then we looked up facts and things. So it's kind of organic to wherever it is that we're doing and what we're seeing. I don't have a set, like this is nature journaling time. It's more like, hey, we haven't done our nature journals in a while. Let's get some stuff out. And I have a whole bunch of like books, kind of like this one where it has like the watercoloring nature pictures, right? So it's pretty to look at and it has some facts. Like these, hold on, let me grab these really fast because these are really great for nature journaling. This whole series, have you ever seen these? These aren't the nature journal ones. There's like oceans and there's animals. Like this series is really good.
Yeah, remind me that.
There's a whole bunch of those, right? So those are the things we're going to get out and it might inspire the kids like, hey, look through here. What do you want to learn about? Let's, and then it might inspire like, oh, let's watch a video or let's go to the library and get some more books or let's look it up or stuff like that. Music appreciation. I think I've shared these before. There's like 10 of them and I've only opened like 3 of them. But they're great. Like just having there's a podcast that was, I actually recently just learned that they turned it into, it's a YouTube channel too, and I didn't even realize. But it's all about music appreciation. Let me just scroll through here really fast because it's really good and I want to share it. And it was the one thing that I didn't get a chance to. Classics for kids. They're super short, like, I don't know, they're less than 10 minutes. And they go over I think it's like a week's worth. It's the same. There's like 4 episodes of like a composer. And you learn about their life, you get to listen to their music, and they're like little 10-minute things. And so we would do that as family school, which I haven't done it in a really long time. And so I probably should like bring it back. This is one that I should bring back because it's been a hot second since we've done it. But it's such a simple thing. Like it's something I can turn on while we're making breakfast, right? Like just even those little bits of, something is more than nothing. And I don't really have super musical children. Like we sing choir, but nobody really plays an instrument. My kids have dabbled in piano. We've taken piano lessons, but it's not like a huge priority for our family like at this time. It was before we moved, and then I got lazy and I never found a new piano teacher when I moved. And sometimes like something's got to give. Something that I like to add in is journal writing, right? That's a skill that we're going to use forever, right? And so I have different things depending upon their level. So sometimes my kids really like these kind, especially when they were younger, where like the words go at the bottom and then they can draw a picture. I have like those journal prompts that I put up. I went through one summer. It was one of my projects that I made journal prompts for the year. And so there's like 4 journal prompts for every week because we only school 4 days a week. And they could choose from, what do they want to journal about? They could journal whatever they wanted, but sometimes it's that like an empty page. It's too overwhelming, right? What would you want to do or what, like it's just too overwhelming. And I agree 100%. Like it's very overwhelming to look at a blank page and be like, well, just journal something. And my brain goes, well, I don't have anything. But so just having those prompts just kind of lets the kids have an idea or a guidance. And there are things like, if you had $1,000, what would you buy? Or
that's a fun one.
What is one goal for this month? Or what's your favorite thing to do in this season? Or what's something you did yesterday that you didn't like? Or I don't know idea, but just things like that, just little short things. I like.
Have you seen? Oh, sorry, just really quickly. So I was just trying to see if I could find it. We did we're going to be starting a 3-year journal where, have you heard of this? So it asks you the same question. So it asks you a question and then you write an answer for 3 years. And so I got them for us and we're going to each do one. So then it tracks for 3 years. Like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up or whatever? That might be one. And so then you're going to see what their answer was in 2025 and 26 and 27. It's kind of cool.
Kennedy has
made me think of that.
Okay. done very much with it. But she used to be my one kid that like was the average journaler every single day. And I will fully own that I have been terrible my whole life. I always think it's a great idea. And I like to collect journals, like just the things.
You have the first couple pages and all of them are filled out.
Yes.
This journal's going to be different.
Yes. So I actually have been doing this challenge with some friends, and my thing I challenged myself so this was like 10 weeks ago now, I think, was to journal every day. And so I found one of those notebooks that I had only done the first page, and I started with like gratitudes in 2025. And I think I got to like 13 things and then I never picked it up, but I forced myself to not write. I just started on the next page. I was like, okay, we're starting this. And it just, I read a book. Shocking. I read a book. It was called The Frozen River, and it was like about a midwife, and she journaled every single day. And she would always, and sometimes it just said, I stayed home, but like, that was all she wrote. Like she would put the weather or something like that. It was the date, the weather, and then she would journal like who she delivered or who she talked to, or, it was just, anyways, but I was like, I can do this. Like, this is silly. Like, I'm going to try it. And so I challenge, and I've done it almost consistently every day for the 10 weeks. And I kept it up even after the challenge was over. There's been a few days that I've missed, I was sick and I was like, I'm just not doing it. And I wrote in one day, I was like, I am sick. And that was all I wrote. But I journaled that day. And then I just finished the book, The Gap and the Gain. And it talks about a daily journal prompt. And actually, this is what I want to do with my kids. And it's every single day you write gratitude, 3 things you're grateful for. And then you write 3 wins for today, and then 3 wins for tomorrow.
Oh, that's cool.
So good. Yes. And so I've been doing that for the last like week and a half. I've been like journaling, just kind of like, hey, what happened today? And then I do that at the end. And that's kind of fun to see. And then I go back the next day and I because I have to keep track, I like check mark the things that were the wins that I actually did accomplish the next day, even though I sometimes overachieve. Shocking, like, hey, I'm going to do all these things and I don't. But 3 things is totally manageable and I love it. And it also, like, I wake up, because I do this at night before I go to bed. I wake up the next day and I was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm going to do today, because I wrote down my 3 wins. Sometimes I have to go back and look, because I was like, what did I say again? I don't even remember. But anyways, I love it. So it's been kind of fun. So that's actually what I'm going to do for my kids this next school year. That's going to be our journal prompt every day. It's 3 gratitudes, 3 wins from yesterday, and 3 wins for today. So
do you find yourself, I'm going to digress a tiny bit with our journaling talk, because I think this is so relatable to other moms too. And I think it's hilarious that we have the same pattern. I find myself when I'm journaling that I get stuck, because we're like I don't know if this is the reason why, but we're a big like family history family. So like I treasure anything that I would get from like a grandparent. I'm always shocked when I go to thrift stores and I see like the family Bible there, and I'm like horrified. Like, how did this not get saved and cherished, right? But so every time I'm journaling, I feel like, okay, this is a family heirloom. I can't be real. What if I, get hit by a truck tomorrow and my kids read this? It has to be all positive and all sunshiny. And it really like makes me stall out.
But that does a disservice to your future generations if everything is sunshine and roses.
Okay, I needed to hear that. See, it's a good thing I asked it. Because I really struggle with that, and I don't want to put anything negative, because if it has to do with like, oh, this kid smashed a window today on accident with a baseball, like, I wanted to feel bad.
Think about your future 3 granddaughters from now, and they're like, they have this crazy child that they don't know what to do with, and they look back like, I wish I'd have kept a journal when the kids were younger, because I think they would super appreciate knowing like what was my day-to-day life back then, because it's a lot different than what they see now, right?
That is true. That's very true. I'm glad I brought this up. This is very helpful. And if I was reading my grandmother's journal, I would want real life. I would want to know, like,
you relate to real life, right?
Right.
You relate to real life, and it makes it interesting.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, good. I love it. Maybe I can get into it. I'll report back. Yeah.
Half the time I say, like, we couldn't even make this stuff up. Like, I couldn't even like come up with this on my own brain, right? That like something like this would happen. Yeah.
It's very true. So, okay, what else do you do?
I love the idea of journal writing. So do journal. Okay. So logic thinking. So there's like this one, and there's like the fallacy detective, doing logic puzzles. Like those are so fun. And then my other one that I have like more hate than love, right? But I still think it's necessary, is we do Shakespeare. And we'll normally do like 2 a year. And we kind of rotate. We might do it one year, we might do it next. But we have a Shakespeare theater that comes through, like does really good plays, right? Because Shakespeare is meant to be seen and said out loud and like, you know, like performed, right? That's what I'm looking for. But Shakespeare's hard. So I think it was probably something from Read Aloud Revival or something from maybe Better Together with Pam Barnhill, but it was how to do Shakespeare, like how to teach your kids Shakespeare, no matter their age, right? So we start with like a little YouTube video that's like a little 4-minute clip. And I really like the ones where they draw them out. Like there's quite a few done like that. So it's just an overview of like, hey, what are we doing? Like, what is this play about, right? Because it's so hard to understand. And then I found this at Costco, and it's
I have it.
20 Shakespeare. So it's like this super tiny, right, with pictures, little thing. So we're gonna watch the video, then we watch this, or we read this out loud, and then I have this beautiful. It's just so pretty. The Usborne Shakespeare. Too? Yeah. Yes. So then we're gonna read this, right, and then we talk about the difference, like. We really talk about like, you know, their condensed versions, right? They're abridged, right? It's the word I'm looking for. Like what was in this one and then what was in this one. And then we will go, I don't normally like read the whole thing, right? Because it's just sometimes really dry or boring, but then we go watch it, right? So, but they know what they're going to see. They're going to understand what they're seeing because we've had all these experiences of learning what the play's about and who the characters are. And so that's been the easiest, most fulfilling way I think to do Shakespeare. And I have taught Shakespeare, I don't know if you're familiar with like the TJLA like framework of like I've taken the class to like teach Shakespeare, and we taught Shakespeare with the kids, and they've like my older girls read like 27 Shakespeare plays, and they took this like massive Shakespeare course. My younger kids have not done that because they have zero interest in it, but my big girls did, and it included like a play that they put on, right? But this is just a much more reason because I want my kids to be exposed to it, but like, they don't have to love it. Like, I don't really love it. Like some of the stuff is more familiar than others, but we normally just kind of do it on whatever play it is that they're covering in that year. And that's the play we study. There's a few that like, you don't want to do. Right. And so when the plays come in, I'm like, oh, it's not. And so I've been able to find, like, you can watch, like plays on YouTube, right? There's hundreds of them of different performances.
I know you have at least one kiddo that likes graphic novels. Have you found any of the Shakespeare graphic novels?
Oh, I haven't even looked.
They're really good. I know I was just trying to look quick since I'm not home. But Usborne has some of them, and I can't remember some of the other ones, but if you just Google them. I found some just recently at a bookstore. I found these really big books, and they're graphic, but they're less, right? There's a difference between a graphic novel and a comic book. In my opinion,
I don't really understand the difference. What is the difference? Could you tell me?
Yeah, for me, like the graphic, I think that's really what it comes down to is like it's length, the way that it's laid out, it's telling a whole story. I don't want any hate for this because I am not a comic book. I have nothing to do with comic books, but this one felt more comic booky. Like it was much shorter, but very well done. They're really large. But thin like a comic book. But and I guess for me, when I think comic books, I don't think like classic novels and like classic works. So maybe that's where I'm differentiating more.
I feel like comic books are just like little chapters of like a whole, like you could put 50 comic books together and you have to get a book, right?
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, looking for those graphic novels. They're actually really good.
Okay, so the last subject I think I probably add in, I'm probably forgetting some too, but this is like off the top of my head, like these are the ones that I need to rotate back in because we haven't done in a while, is art history, art appreciation. I love these Simply Charlotte Mason ones. So it has like the picture and you do the picture study and then it has the description and it talks about it. So it's very simple, right? I'm all about, I want the easy button for some of this stuff, right? Like my brain cannot come up with all things. I don't want to recreate the wheel. I want to spend $20 and get this and be able to stick it up. And normally what I do with these is I used to have like a little I got it at IKEA. I do a lot of things at IKEA. They own a lot of really good things. It's one of those it's actually I think a curtain, like a metal like flimsy curtain. It has like hooks on it. Like we hung pictures from it. Like we hang our picture studies on it, but I think it's actually made for curtains. But anyway, so just having them out and they just look at them and they talk and you know what I mean? Like it's just exposure, right? We're exposing our kids to something good, something that they wouldn't normally be exposed to if we didn't make effort. And we have like some coffee table books and like Norman Rockwell is like my favorite artist. So I have like some Norman Rockwell stuff in my house, but we normally will do some kind of like make our own art, or I found a bunch of really good, there's coloring books for almost every like artist. And it's just like black and white copies of like their work, right? The Starry Night one. And then, you know, they can color them while we're learning, just have them out that they can color while they're listening to an audiobook or just things like that. Just it's exposure, right? It's just, and if they're more interested in it, then we're going to dive a little deeper. But I don't know. That's pretty much it.
I love it. I think it's great. So I won't repeat all the ones that you said. We do a lot of very similar things that you do as well for our extras. Some of our extras happen through our extracurriculars, like our fine arts. Like we have dancers. I know you have dancers too. I have kids who are very heavily into musical theater. We've done a ton of musical theater. So that's a big part of who we are. Music is a big part of our life. Piano, violin, harp, like we've done it all. We have some kids who are very talented in music. All of my kids sing. So we do all kinds of, you know, singing showcases and just different things. We do a lot of musical things. Choir, my kids are all in choir, guitar, that kind of stuff. So music's a big part of our life. But aside from that, some of the things that we do that are kind of a little bit different, we do art history too. And I just want to mention that because I never, at the start of this journey, never thought art history would be something that I would do with my kids. I only did it because it was part of our co-op. And I now have a child who is taking art history classes for fun at college and considering a minor in art history. Like, it is such a rich experience. We love to go to art galleries and go to art museums and things like that. It's fun when you're consistent because, like, at a certain age, all of my kids they learn about the different, we have a whole year where they're learning about artists, and then they do some of the work like Starry Night. So I have a picture of Starry Night drawn by my children all at the very same age and a collection of them. So it's super fun. We do like do you ever have the spot the difference in the art books?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are really fun. So like there's just lots of ways to make it really fun. It doesn't just have to be like reading about the artists. Make it interactive. Have them redraw the picture. You know, learn about a lot of the artists have really colorful stories, I guess we'll say, that are really interesting for kids. I mean, you might have to preview some of the information, right? Because some of it's a little too colorful. But there's a lot of just really interesting stories and lots of it can spur lots of good discussion. We talk about composers as well. Some of our favorite songs and hymns, like the It Is Well With My Soul song and the history and why that was created. If you don't know, please go and research about that composer and this tragic story of his family, and it just gives so much power and meaning to that song. So we do some of that. I also have a really good classical music curriculum that was almost untouched. It remains almost untouched. So you just do the best that you can. But some of the other things we do a little homemaking class with my daughters. And it's with my daughters because my sons are not too old, but we put a lot of intentional effort into homemaking skills for all of our kids, cooking and laundry, all of those things. All of my kids have been really grateful for that part of their education. We do some logic. The fallacy detective is one of our favorites. A lot of times I'm following the needs of the season, right? So we might, like right now, we're going through a goals challenge with my kids based off of one that Courtney got me connected with, which is really good. So we're doing it with our kids, and there might be a time where we need a little bit of extra character development if we're dealing with some pride issues or some sort of behavior issues. So sometimes just our season and the needs of the family drive the extras that we do, or holiday, right? We've got the big 250th anniversary coming up. And so we're going to be doing a lot of American history in the month of June and kind of a countdown for that. So that's pretty exciting. We also, you mentioned this in one of our other podcasts here recently, but like games and puzzles are kind of an extra on its own right. And we try to make some of them are educational and some of them are just fun and strategy and working together and just family time, but they're still great. We do a lot of civics type government work. So Institute on the Constitution is one of my favorites that we've done really good. We've done classes through Hillsdale, which I highly recommend. They're free. They have such good course offerings, and you can see both of those that I just mentioned, Institute on the Constitution and the Hillsdale. You can see if your kiddo is progressing, how far they've gone, all of those things. So it's all, well, Institute on the Constitution is not free, but the Hillsdale one is. So many good specialty classes, especially for your middle school to high schoolers. And then the other thing that we do, the last one I guess three more. So one we do is scripture study, which I know that you guys do as well. We just throw it out there. We try to do a lot of fun things, just different things with scripture study. I have little like one act plays through the Bible and like little finger puppets and things. So we just try to make it fun and interactive and be consistent with it. We have a daughter who wants to be a cosmetologist, so we bought her a bunch of like hairdresser stuff, and like she'll do that for some of her school time sometimes and pull out her mannequin and test new techniques and watch some videos and things like that. So we're really just supporting their passions and interests as well. And then we do Latin with the kids through classical conversations. And so that starts when they're pretty young, and then that's our second language that we take through. And then the last thing I was going to mention, I'm so interested to know if you've heard of this. We do driver's ed at home. So we do a homeschooling version of driver's ed. It's called Drive Safe, Ride Safe. And we've been so happy with it. We went to their courses and got certified in it. You don't have to get certified, but you can get like certified to have less driving hours required. We still make our kids get all the driving hours that are required, and they still have to go drive with a driver at a school, but they take the classes at home, and it's all video based. It is so excellent. They talk about how the little book that everybody has to follow that little book. And I don't know if it's different state by state. So this could only be relevant for Minnesota, and I could be giving bad information. But in Minnesota, there's like this little tiny book you have to follow, and it's super it's not necessarily outdated, but it's never been updated for many, many years. And so they just take this guy that runs and we are not affiliated with them, so we're not getting anything for saying this. But he was a crash scene investigator for a ton of years. So he really teaches kids how to be defensive drivers. Like he has seen the worst of the worst accidents, and his mission is out to basically prevent those for our children. So really good course. It's called Drive Safe, Ride Safe.
So I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
As permit drivers, is there a book that they're required to go through?
So the course takes them through that little book.
But is it required by the state of Minnesota to go through that book?
I don't know. I think so.
Oh, I'm like, I've never heard of that. We don't have that in Arizona.
I don't know. It's just a little Are you guys required to do driver's ed?
No.
Oh, what? You don't have to do driver's ed?
It's not required.
You can just go in and get your license?
Well, you have to do your hours, but like your parents, there's no requirement to take a class or have driver's ed.
You don't have to drive around with anybody or anything?
Yeah, you have to have so many hours, whatever the hour
with a
is.
person.
Mm-hmm, with somebody over the age of 25.
Oh, so not a certified instructor?
No.
Okay, so here you are required to take a class.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So first you take your
permit
test.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to take a class to get a certain card, which then gives you permission to drive with a certified instructor for a certain amount of hours. And you have to have a certain amount of hours with your parents or somebody older. And certain amount of nighttime hours and daytime hours. Yeah, so interesting by state. Yeah. So, but I really appreciate it. So, but even for a state like yours where it's not required, this Drive Safe, Ride Safe I highly recommend it. Right?
I have my kids do driver's ed because I require it. But it's not something that the state requires.
I read somewhere that the most dangerous, leave it to me. Courtney's going to roll her eyes because she knows this is how my brain works. Like the most dangerous day of your life is the day you're born, right? That's the most likely day that something is going to happen. But then it's your 16th year. And because we have all these kids that are, let's be honest, not
probably mentally mature enough to really be driving around this massive like vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. And so and I'm a little biased too, because I was in a really severe accident with a teenage driver, not me, a reckless teenage driver when I was young and was really severely injured. And so I'm just a little extra sensitive too, but truly this course is so phenomenal and so well done. And I feel like my kids are better drivers because of it. So again, not a pitch for them, but it kind of came out that way.
Sorry, she came in to get the baby bouncer, so it's noisy over
No,
here.
you're good. You're great.
I was going to say the one thing you guys do more is a language, right? Like I have dabbled in Spanish. We've dabbled. Like we've done Pimsleur. We did that for a long time. It's you know, like it says something and you repeat it. Like we did it as part of family school when like the girls were younger. And then like my kids have done Duolingo.
Oh
and,
yeah,
you know,
mine
things
too.
like that. But we've never done a formal. Like Audrey took French because that was her choice, right? Through Power Homeschool, she took French.
Oh sure.
So they've kind of dabbled, and I had kids do like a sign language. So my fingers, I'm like, what is that one called? Sign language, but not. We've never done it as like a full on like course as a family. Those are more like high school things. But
we also did Mandarin for several years, and that was one of my favorite. I mean, I had two little girls that could speak pretty well in Mandarin, and we did it throughout school, and it was expensive but really good. And so eventually they switched to just mostly Latin is the only thing I require, but they love to explore languages with Duolingo and things like that. So they do some of that. But why I love Latin so much is because it's like a 5K for the brain. Like it really does help make new connections, and it just really is a great exercise for the brain, but it also lays the foundation for learning other languages and actually can help with your English grammar as well. So it's awesome. We love it.
Yeah. All right. I love it. Okay.
Awesome.
I wanted to hear like what other people do, right? Especially the extras, because these are all, you know, the fluffy extras. They're not anybody's required, but the only thing we did talk about is actually doing art, right? Like art is also one of our subjects.
Yes.
Learning the art techniques and like actually, you know, learning a new skill and things like that. We'll do, you know, so I kind of haven't done it this year because it's part of Good and the Beautiful. Like they do art techniques throughout. So I haven't taught it separately this year, but we also do art, a lot of co-op. Like those are really good co-op classes.
Yeah.
To bring in those art, because it's somebody who's passionate skill. Like I think it's fun sometimes, but I'm not great at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can do a drawing video. I love those. Those are fun.
Yeah.
You know, like learning those little, just all kinds of things like that. So, and if the kids are super passionate and interested in it, then it kind of inspires everyone to be, because they're going to be like, hey, I want to do more of this. And I have like my son, who's the most non-art, is that a boy thing? Like he's very not artistic. Like he hates it really. Like it's torture, but we make him do it sometimes anyways, but it's like kind of torture getting him to do art.
Yeah. We do an art curriculum through our co-op. And so we do get a good amount of art, but you can also incorporate art into like, I just bought a book the other day from the thrift store, drawing Bible characters, like drawing through the Bible. Like you can do drawing through history, drawing through geography. Like there's all kinds of cool things you can do as well.
Yeah, I have a whole shelf full of things like that. Like these are all the different art books.
Yes.
Again, it's just exposure. And again, pulling those out. So they're forward facing, just randomly bringing them out. Like the how to draw books, just randomly bringing them out. They're like, oh, I forgot we had that. And then they sit down and do it. So
I think, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's a lot of value in just like re-rotating your stuff out. Things that we haven't, like when I was going to do this, it made me remember like all these things that I was like, oh, we haven't done any of these things in a long time.
I think you just hit on something that's really important. And you said it's about exposure. So it's kind of like sports for us. We put our kids in a ton of different sports when they're little, so we can see what they're drawn to and where they have some natural ability and skill. And then we can, you know, focus as they get older into one sport. I don't expect that every sport that my 4-year-old plays, or 5-year-old or 6-year-old, that they're going to play it as a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grader plus. It's the same thing here. You expose them to Shakespeare, and you might have one daughter who loves it. You expose them to art history, and you might have one who majors in college in art history. But I wouldn't force any of them. I think we want to be clear to our audience.
saying, if your kids also hate Shakespeare, I don't think you should force it on them repeatedly, right? Give them enough to be exposed. Give them enough so I always talk about preparing my kids to be a part of the great conversation. Can they contribute something meaningful to almost any conversation that they step into? Give them just enough exposure to Shakespeare that they can have an intelligent conversation on a surface level with somebody who wants to talk about Shakespeare. And so that's kind of the approach that we take.
That's funny. I always say that they have to have enough exposure to be able to give an educated answer as to why they might not like it. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to explain why, anyway. So, all right. I love it. This is so fun. Okay. Next week we are, going to talk about summer, like what we're doing in summer. Like, what does summer mean? Are we schooling? Are we doing special schedules? Are we doing whatever it is that what our summers look like? Which I swear our summers keep getting shorter and shorter and shorter. In Arizona, they start school like the end of July. Our summers are so short.
I'm glad that we don't. We start at the beginning of August, and that feels soon enough.
I'm boycotting. I'm like, we're going to do a slow roll, and we're going to, like, the schools can go back, and like my kids like take some religious education classes at the school, and like we can't change that, right? So you can go do that, but like we don't have to start our real school type stuff that early. Like, we're going to do a slow roll this year. So
love it.
All right. We can. Yep. I love the ability to like we can start although I always get anxious and excited when school starts. Like right now I'm like,
I do too.
I was like, I can't even think about it. But I know once I get there, I'm like, okay, let's start. Let's go. I'm just ready for a routine by the end of the summer. But
Amen.
All right. Great conversation. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.